episode of Triggering Chaos. Yeah, today we'll be dealing with Ghost. Before that, once again, we have a few announcements. Well, mostly a question. I have tried a few new noise filters for the show. If you let me know how they sound, I think they sounded better than it has for a while now. So you don't hear my PC having a heart attack, that's for sure.
Ooh, yeah, I appreciate that.
And I'm hoping it kind of knocks out a few other sounds that have been heard throughout the thing that I did not intend. But like I said, work in progresses and things have been hectic, but I'm hoping they work out.
Most shows generally improve as longer as they go. Let's find out if we can follow that trend.
I'm trying.
Yep. So we're going to be covering a show both of us really do like, but we ain't going to say it's great.
It has its issues. Some of them are more understandable than others.
Yeah, there was some behind-the-scenes turmoil that happened with the show, and that's excusable sometimes, but sometimes you just gotta... They put it out there as it is, so we can judge it as it is.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take the good and the bad and see where it leads you. But it's still a long series that is near and dear to our hearts.
Yep, we're returning to the well of Tokusatsu with Kamen Rider Ghost.
Now, this was an interesting one. Who was before and after this one?
Drive was the immediate one that preceded it, and after it, I believe, was X-Aid.
Okay, that's where... okay.
So, and honestly, Ghost is sandwiched between two of my least favorite Kamen Riders.
You know, kind of funny that the Ghost is coming before the Doctor.
But with how this show works, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm just saying, it just occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
But let us proceed first. So, this, me and Em both agree, this one was kind of overlooked in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I know when Ghost came out and after it was complete, a lot of people considered it a pretty much forgettable show to downright bad. I know a couple of people who consider Ghost to be the worst of the Heisei era. These people generally put Forza in their top, so I think we're just gonna have to disagree
completely.
Yeah.
I mean, while I had no major issues with it, there are certain aspects of the show that wounded me deeply, but...
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is the 26th Kamen Rider show. 26 is an excusable number to have a wet fart every now and then.
Yeah, it's 26 years, because each series was a year.
Pretty much, with the exception of a couple that are distinctly movies, but anyway, this was the 2015 to 2016 Kamen Rider. And I enjoyed my time with it. I have not really felt the need to go back for more than a couple of episodes that I remember very good, or a couple episodes to go back and remember, oh, wow, that was bad. If you ended up not liking Ghost, this podcast episode will not really convince you that Ghost is amazing, but you might just understand why we enjoyed it. But consistency was not Ghost's strong point. And
no, there were some things that were really consistent, which good on them.
The acting was solid, but the behind the scenes felt very up in the air, and I can't really remember where I first heard about the behind the scenes issues.
And once again, this is about the show, not backseat drama. So
yeah, we just like to bring that up because it explains some things, does not excuse some things. Like, the show is what we got. The wasted potential is us pointing out that, hey, this was a good idea. Wow, did it not do great or fail? And sometimes we try to give ideas on how to fix it, and the first way we would fix it is better behind the scenes stuff. Because there have been Kamen Rider shows with worse behind the scenes stuff. See the ones done during the pandemic that turned out fairly good. So
now, if you're asking me why we don't get into the behind the scenes stuff, I have a principle that I don't specifically know what happened. I'm not denying that anything happened. I simply was not there.
We go by usually secondhand information, but because this is a Japanese show, this is automatic third-hand information.
Mm-hmm. So
Because we had to go through the behind the scenes we've heard that was released, and then go through the translation of that. And anyone who knows anything about translation knows that telephone game starts to get kind of wonky, or in Soul's case, whisper down the alley lane. What
God,
was that game?
let it go.
I will never let that go because it
Look,
makes no bloody
it's
sense.
not my fault, okay?
No. You are representative of your entire state.
Bullshit.
That's how American tourists act whenever they go somewhere else. That the first person they meet is an entire representative of the person that place they're
Well,
in.
then you're entire representation of Canada. Canada sucks then.
Considering you keep coming back to me, it sounds like awesome, and you want more.
I just need some snarky to keep me in line. I didn't say you're great.
Yeah, great snark.
Suppose that'd be something.
But yeah, Ghost itself. First off, we can't really play a part of it, but I still think Ghost has a pretty damn good theme song.
It's catchy. It's not like
Catchy.
earworm catchy, but at the same time, I never mad about hearing it.
Oh, it's relaxing. I find. One thing about Ghost is it's not going to be a horror.
No.
They're using, which is kind of disappointing because Kamen Rider has done good scary shit before. I was hoping this show would have nothing but spooky, scary skeletons, but it ended up just being more of a bond of friendship, which is not that unusual for.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's any major events going on at the time this was being made. I can't think of any because I understand when they made Geats, which was during 2020, which was.
Let's not go on about that. But yeah, Japan needed the bolstering. And Kamen Rider and Sentai often do this, where they look at the state of the world and go, yeah, maybe the kids need something to brighten their day. Or, yeah, the kids are able to handle a little bit of darker subject matter right now. The best example of this is my favorite Sentai, Gokaiger, but we'll do that whenever we do a Gokaiger episode, which, God, I could do a Gokaiger episode anytime you ask me to.
But moving on, let's get another image up here because I think we rambled on quite long enough.
Yeah. So, Ghost is primarily a show about collecting 15 MacGuffins. These MacGuffins will enhance the power of the Kamen Riders. The MacGuffins are eyes that summon jackets.
That are the spirits of great people from the past.
Yeah. So here we have the main character Ghost holding one of the icons. Then these are the Parka Ghosts, which I'm going to say right here, the idea of making the power-ups jackets and giving them little ghosty faces is fucking genius for a toy.
It makes it easy to swap out on the stage, too.
Yep. Because it's always going to be Ghost's primary colors. The helmet gets swapped because the faceplate gets changed, and the over jacket gets changed, but you can see Ghost's orange and black one right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the red one will slide over, and the black Ghost standard jacket will go. We didn't decide to show many images of that because we could be here all day arguing which ones go where.
Plus, if you consider the fact that they're integratable with the other Kamen Riders, it's going to be a headache.
Yeah. Some of them never were shown on show, and there were some special ones exclusive to movies and web series.
And once again, we're just focusing on the series itself.
Yeah, but I couldn't resist and picked the wizard icon for my icon this week.
And you'll see who I am shortly.
Yeah, Wizard's trench coat plus Ghost's jacket motif was just asking to be done. It's my favorite form of legendary form. But
now,
anyway,
if I remember correctly, we have Musashi Miyamoto is the red one over there with the dual blades.
The blue one is Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back we have Edison, which is another example of Edison's more well known in Japan, even though he may not be great of a dude.
But Musashi was pretty much just a melee fighter. He had two swords and 4 abilities. Isaac controlled gravity.
Newton controlling gravity is, paying off the whole. Yeah, he discovered gravity, so let's make him gravity based.
Which I remember I love.
But
He
yeah,
was using Isaac to try and stop a portion of the land from crashing on top of him. And
yeah,
then
and
he
then
had
he
no.
gets you're a ghost. You can face your soul of matter. Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a running gag.
Well, actually, it's one of the disappointments is they kept forgetting how much ghost-like he was. But yeah, Edison let him shoot electricity. The next, he also had Robin Hood, which let him make a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
There was also Billy the Kid, which
That
he
was
dueled
his
with
rage
guns.
fighter. There was Beethoven.
Da, 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 which let him attack with musical notes, which it was the least used form, I believe, and very CGI heavy.
There was
Then,
Sanzo from Journey to the West.
yes, the actual writer of Journey to the West was one. Next, going down to the order, we
Okay.
had the Japanese monk Benkei,
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
who gave him a giant mallet kind of weapon. We had Goemon, which played up the ninja and the kabuki style.
Mm-hmm.
Another Japanese hero, Yoma, which I'm actually not too familiar with, but makes sense. And then a Japanese heroine, a Himiko, which again I'm not too familiar with because I'm not Japanese. There was also Tutankhamun,
Mm-hmm.
Nobunaga, which
Him I'm familiar
obviously
with.
Nobunaga is like the easiest sell for me for a Japanese one. Then they had Houdini,
Oh yeah, that was actually a fun one.
and then they had the Brothers Grimm as one. These were the
Oh right.
these were the 15 main ones. Yeah. Um, they were pretty well designed. Each jacket not only incorporated the different colors, but some of them had different designs. Like the creator of Journey to the West, Sanzo, had the three primary characters as part of the jacket: the Monkey King, the pig,
And
Pigsy, and
the Water Spirit.
Sandy. Brothers Grimm had two pens sticking out of his shoulder, which he could use as whips, which was I like that one a lot. Houdini was my favorite, but very rarely used. It was another character's bike as well, and it became a hover jacket. Like you put it on, you had Beetles on the side of your jacket, so you could just kind of fly. I'm like, that's really cool. That's never gonna get used though, is it? And it was the second least used one, I believe.
Beethoven had like keyboards on his or piano keys on his jacket.
Yep.
And musical notes came out and whopped the enemy for you.
Billy the Kid had a cowboy hat attached to the hood, so he always had the hat up. And Robin Hood had an arrow, had a feather in the side of the hood.
I would say he had an arrow through his head.
Sorry, he had
I
an
couldn't
arrow
resist.
designed on his faceplate. That's where I got hung up just then.
Mm-hmm. But you also notice that that Ghost has a horn on his head.
Yep,
those are iconic for the series.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's go down to our actual main character.
Oh, he dead.
Oh, damn it, we took so long to make this episode.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
wait, this started with him dead.
All right, it did. Our main character, Tenkuru Tenkuchi. Tenkuru is your standard, really good kid. He's just naturally sweet. But the episode starts with it's on his 18th birthday. He died.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to hear that a lot. Even at points in the show where he's technically not dead, they still remind you on his 18th birthday he died.
Yeah,
he comes back to life.
Like that is the most repeated line in this show, and that's saying something.
Yes, the guy the president of Kogami Foundation from Counter doesn't mention birthdays as much as the opening of the show mentions he died on his 18th birthday. Yeah, Tengeru is the son of the man who owned a temple who has passed away, so it's his temple soon, and it's a traditional Japanese Buddhist temple or kind of a Shintoist. I forget which. I think it's a Buddhist temple. Yeah, and he is responsible for keeping this temple around. He's not the only one living there, but it is his job. His dad was also researching the paranormal activities, and he gifted his son the handle guard of Musashi.
Mm-hmm.
And he carried around as a good luck charm, and that became the Musashi icon, which allowed him to kind of come back from the dead as Kamen Rider Ghost. Yes, upon his first death, he has 99 days to gather the 15 MacGuffins to make a wish to come back to life.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop it there for a minute. You're going to be hearing how many days are left, and none of that makes any sense.
Yeah, it starts off 99 days. Episode 2, 98 days. Oh, that makes sense. Episode 3, 80 days. What?
Not episode 15, 60 days. Huh?
Episode 16, 3 days. What? Like, I mean, that's not the exact time frame, but it really does feel along the lines of, okay, pretty consistent. All right, I can see 98 turning to 80. That's a bit rushed. Wait, why are we at 50? Wait, why are we at 20? What have you been doing, kid?
It's like, I understand that he's not going to find them like the next day.
No,
but you might want to put a bit of a rush on that.
Yeah. And even when time is running up, Tenkuru's not exactly in a big rush to come. He wants to come back to life, but it's not his priority. His priority is using his ghost powers to help people because he's a good kid. Like, he is a sweet, innocent MacGuffin, because at one point he does get all 15 MacGuffins and then decides, I'm going to revive that person instead of me. Bye, guys. And then he still comes back. Tenkuru dies basically 3 times in this show.
Yeah. The first time he saves someone else and then through a MacGuffin we'll talk about shortly, he comes back to life and has another 99 days.
Yep.
Which time is still wonky at this point, so we never get it exactly. And then it just kind of goes away.
Yep. And the third time he dies, the MacGuffin won't work to bring him back, but his friends all have pieces of his power, and they just will him back to life. And honestly, his return wall pulled completely out of the ass of the whole power of friendship bullshit. It gives him his ultimate form, and his descent in that form is just like, okay, I know the power of friendship bullshit does not piss me off, because the cinematography of him coming back is just mwah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that shortly as well, but...
Yeah. But we will mention right quick that, like many Kamen Riders, he debuted shortly before his show. He debuted in a Drive movie, and in the Drive movie, he did not fight like your standard Kamen Rider on the ground, chops, punches. He floated there, his limbs kind of dangling, passing through Drive's enemies, knocking them aside with really cool lighting effects because his suit glows in the dark, but they decided to film it in the day and make it really eerie and this black mist. It was just like, holy fuck, this is like how you think a ghost would fight. Everyone knew this would not be how the show was, but at the same time, we were all like, can we please get fights like that? No.
But the glow effect is awesome. It gives me very vibes.
Yeah, this definitely feels like, hey, remember when we did that cool thing with Fies? Let's do it again, but with orange and blues and really cool dark eyes. Like, if Ghost is based off an insect, like many Kamen Riders are, he's clearly based off a firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Which are cool to me, as long as I'm far away.
But his basic form is pretty solid. I do generally enjoy his standard form.
Yeah, I also like the out of action where it goes, go, 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 Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a sucker for that. That's just really good.
Now, his belt is kind of creepy. Not gonna lie.
The thing about the Ghost belt, the Ghost Driver, is I love its design, where because they're using eyes as the symbol for the power-up, you drop it in, pull the orange handle, and the eyes will blink open. As well, that greenish shell is translucent. There's a design of a face behind it. So it's kind of like a creepy mono-eyed demonic face with an ectoplasm shield over it.
Yeah, great.
And I'm just like, who designed this and how can I shake their hand? Like, the Ghost Driver is not one of my favorite drivers because it doesn't have as many cool gimmicks or cool sounds to it, but the design alone is just, again...
Well, I think that's kind of what I appreciate about it, is it didn't try to be gimmicky with it.
Yeah, there's such thing as too much gimmicks, but there's also such thing as too little gimmicks, and the Ghost Driver's at too little gimmick, in my opinion.
I'll take too little over too many.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. It reminds me a bit of, in terms of simplicity, the Double Driver, where you just put in the thing and you do one motion to do all the powers.
Fair.
Which works. It can also be done one-handed, which is always a plus. There's a lot of counter belts where it feels like you need to look down and use both hands to operate it.
Thanks, Forze.
I mean, you could use Forze's one-handed, but anyway. Anyway,
let's move on a little bit.
This is Ghost's first comeback. He gets basically, after he doesn't use the wish on himself, the spirit of his father passes through him and grants him life again, and gives him his first personal power up. This is Tokugan Boost, which means father boost. He's essentially wearing the ghost of his father as a shell.
And the one thing I appreciate about this power up, he actually uses it.
Yeah, it's not a one and done. It's one he uses
quite fairly after he gets it. Like, not all the time, but at least it's more often than most Kamen Riders would.
And it is compatible with the 15 icons he's hunting for.
And they even get a boost from it, so that's awesome.
Yeah, much like the Dragon Balls, once they granted a wish, they scatter. But luckily for Ghost, they don't scatter to the four ends of the world. They just scatter to, I want to say Tokyo, because I don't remember if they named the city Ghost's in.
I forget as well.
Yeah. But to be fair, the size of Tokyo I could reasonably believe it would take someone 99 days to find all these icons.
Yeah, but I wouldn't waste 30 days doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no. It also comes with a different weapon, which is Sunglass Slasher, which is a katana with a pair of shades stapled onto the guard, where you can flip up the shades and put two icons in. Also, there's a gun in the sunglasses.
I remember that. But I like the color scheme for this.
I'm just going to say this about the Sunglass Slasher. It's one of those things where, my God, that's stupid. I love it. I mean, that's the thing I said about Ghost so much. My God, this is stupid. I love it.
I will say that I do like the color scheme. It loses the glow, but it's got, like, the white for the eyeball is very good. The red is the main color, but the black flame, because normally you would think for the flames would be red.
Yeah, but they decided to make them black, and they also added little red flames to the top of his hood, which, stupid. I love it.
And a little bit of change to the helmet to kind of give it that more menacing look in the face.
Yeah.
So,
but at the same time, it's still sweet old Takaru who's just trying his best to help everybody.
Yep. And you know what really makes me appreciate this thing? With that face, the helmet that he has, that entire front can be see-through, so he can have a lot more field of vision.
Yeah, I imagine that was actually a pretty good suit to work with. But that is one of the things about Takaru is he's a nice kid, but my God, is he so vanilla. Like, niceness is his main trait.
I mean, he has his moments of doing other things, but
he's forgettable at times. Like, there's lots of Kamen Riders who niceness is their main trait. Kamen Rider O's is edgy, for example, is his main trait is how kind he is to everyone. But they make that his entire character to the point of he's so sweet and innocent and helpful of people that it ends up being comedy. Takaru is just nice.
I think that's why I kind of liked Fi so much, is because he was a bit of a different flavor.
Yeah, like, you can do nice characters. It's why I like Edgy so much. He's so nice, but Edgy's also tricky to people. He's also clever. They do make him the butt of jokes out of niceness, and he's also aware that he's being made the butt of jokes. He's not an idiot. He just chooses to be kind first. Takaru gets tricked a few times, and it's just like, well, of course he's going to get tricked. He's naively sweet. Again, not a bad trait for a main character. And I do feel like Takaru is more of a plot point than a character, which does hurt. But he does deliver some good fights, and the people around him are quite interesting. It's just, I know a lot of people need their main character to be a bit more deep. Which it is fair, but we're not always going to get someone like...
No, and I think given his upbringing with Buddha's forgiveness and everything like that, it does make a little bit of sense. So...
He's technically a monk, technically not, but yeah, he does really embody the whole... I can definitely see him running a temple and people going to him for spiritual advice without needing judgment. Like, Takaru is not going to judge you. He's not going to be like, that's a terrible sin you did. He'd be like, oh, that was a bad thing you did.
I mean, he's not so much that he can't see a villain for being a villain.
Yeah, he does fight the good fight. He does not like, oh, I'm going to forgive everyone. No, it's just generally he does want to be nice to everybody. But when someone's literally doing homicidal maniac stuff, no, I'm going Ghost on their face, which, yeah, a lot of Danny Phantom jokes were made.
He kind of reminds me of X in a way, from Mega Man X.
Yeah.
He's really nice and forgiving, but the minute you piss him off, you'll get your shit wrecked.
Yeah. And like I said, while they didn't do the whole haunting movement for his fights. Ghost fights are still pretty damn solid. Some of
Hmm.
them are up there in my favorites, but there's also not enough of them.
Yeah. I'm also going to bring this up now. His motorcycle vehicle was the most annoying thing ever.
Like, I like the baseline form, but then it had an upgrade where an iguana pirate ship was attached to it. Don't ask, it's dumb. This one is not so dumb. I love it. This is just dumb. But it makes this noise that when me and Soul were watching the episode, Soul was just the entire time going.
Yeah, it was terrible. I still have migraine from it.
I'm pretty sure if I was watching Soul on vidcam, I'd see foam just bubbling out of his mouth. Me, I'm just like, oh, this is annoying. Huh, Soul hates it. I'm gonna remember this.
And he did.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is, if Soul ever really pisses me off enough, I'm going to blast that at him. Subwoofers until he submits.
So I know your plan. I'll get earmuffs.
Yes, which is why I'll rig the earmuff to actually be headphones.
But let's go on to the next form because
Because the icons are ghosts in a sense, they can grow an opinion. And when all 15 have bonded quite well with Takaru, he gets his graceful Damashi form.
grateful, not graceful.
Sorry, I always say graceful.
I think it's because graceful sounds nicer. Like it's got a flow to it.
It does. Essentially, he replaces his belt with a giant icon as the belt, and each of those little patterns on him is one of the faceplate of the jacket when he was in ghost form. Just by tapping it or by hitting the belt again, he can spawn the ghost parka from it. It appears the parkas are not as strong as when you're wearing it, but as you can spawn 15 of them.
Power in numbers, baby.
Yeah. And they're independent, so just because technically when you use the Musashi jacket, you're a better swordsman than Musashi, you're still able to have you here with your sword and Musashi floating behind with the sword. It's good.
And the other nice thing is, this form really is how grateful he is to the ghost for their help,
and how grateful they are for him defending them.
Because one of the episodes I really liked about this is that after a while he got his ultimate form. Yep. But he didn't use this one because he was so grateful to the ghosts, and the ghosts were really appreciative of this.
Which makes sense. It's another example of, while Takaru is super nice and kind of bland like that, there's still character growth with him, whereas he truly does respect them. While his next form is technically way stronger and barely needs this form, he still wanted to do that fight with them because they became his friend. We did not see enough of him interacting with the ghosts because limited airtime, and all the ghost parkas are voiced by the same person as a joke.
But I do like when the parkas interact with each other.
Yep.
And there are a few nice scenes, like they kind of like have their like own little home in the temple.
Yep. And you also get to see at several points the icons can possess a human being, and the plot of the episode is to appease them, and not in the whole, exercise. No, Takaru actually appeases them, or they do this to teach someone a lesson, and Takaru goes along with the lesson. It's either a lesson to him or to one of his friends. And he's not he understands that, hey, they're dead. Of course they would like to do something again. So he's not judging them for that. He feels a little bit upset, like, why did you take that guy's body or take that girl's body? That wasn't very appropriate of you, but I understand why. What could you have asked first? But yeah.
It leads to complications, but
I really like this suit, except for the bluish silver for the very top of the head. It just always flashes me. But
yeah,
the rest of it's just good. I like the general hair of it.
Aside from the bluish, I don't think there's some besides the color. There's something about the helmet that just doesn't mesh well with it. Like
there's like a katana in the back of his head as a top knot, which I found was clever, but at the same time, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I think because of how less spiky the rest of the outfit is, having the spiky portrayed helmet just clashes with it as well.
Now, I do like that because Musashi was the primary ghost he used the most, it's in his chest. They've clearly got a bond, which I like that. But let's get on to his final form.
Oh, nope. We got the icons first.
Yep, that's all 15 icons. Now, several times they'll just have the icons wiggle back and forth to talk, which
Light up a
I
little
get.
bit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but a lot of times they'll just wiggle, which I understand because wow, that probably saves a lot more budget than CGI the parkas moving back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Because the parkas are CGI completely when they're moving.
Yeah.
They don't like. They really should have just like taken the jacket and put it on wires and move it around, which would have been another example of my God, that's dumb. I love it because my God, is just the icons wiggling dumb, and I love it.
Yeah, like I said, some dumb things we give credit for because we understand that you're on a budget and this saves
Yeah,
money.
yeah, and I understand how expensive CGI can be, even when you stock footage it up.
Yeah, but I do like how, despite them all being a basic icon, there are little differences between their designs.
Yeah, the icon, the actual icon of the icon, is different for each one. They each have the number 1 through 15 on them. Now, sure, some colors are reused, but they try to at least do different shades and keep them like no two colors are right next to each other on the
And if
numbers.
you notice,
So
the top of them are a little bit different. Like this one has a bit more pizzazz to it than this one. But
that's actually just more the angle than anything else there. They're all modular, the same shape in order to
well, no,
fit
because if you look
into
at
the.
this one and this one, you can tell this one's slightly different. It's not the angle.
No, no, it is the angle. I've actually seen the icon toys. They're
Well,
all
because
100%. Yeah, I know. I know what you're trying to say, but that's the coloring and the angle and the lighting doing that to you. If you look at the actual icon toys, they are 100% the same shell.
it's a chicken with light, then.
hmm hmm
Not the first thing I'll be wrong on. Won't be the last.
No, and again, the icons themselves as toys, they're kind of fidgety toys because they have one button that has a loud click sound to it and makes the eye symbol move a bit. So I imagine it's just fun to click them.
Not just picture someone on stage just walking over, click, 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 click.
Yep. But yeah, now we
So,
get on to his final
yep.
form, which is
Captain Sparkles.
Mr. Rainbow himself. This is Mugen, which, yeah, that's rainbow patterns, rainbow glitter. He descends upon high with white angel wings floating down after him. And he is the embodiment of emotions.
And the only thing I don't like is the icon for this thing because I don't like the glasses on the stomach there.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
But on that, I love the suit.
I also love how he does it to help people through trauma, through their emotions running wild. That's his whole shtick in the Mugen form.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you notice,
Which,
there's
go
also
ahead.
the glasses also look like the infinity sign, also. So there's a bit of a
Which,
double thing on that, which I love.
because if you translate Mugen directly, the closest translation is infinity.
Mm-hmm.
It's also really fun mashup of all fighting games,
Mm-hmm.
which is why they named it Mugen because it's infinite.
Now here with the helmet, I love that they have the basic black, but they have the orange eyes with it. It really draws it out.
And it harkens back to his original form.
Mm-hmm. And the sort of glasses opening on the Parker too really looks very nice. Like even with the hood up or down, this still looks very stunning and very noticeable. Like this is eye catching in the proper way.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I just want to grab him and shake him and see if he goes like a Christmas ball. But they knew what they were doing with the color scheme, and whoever designed this suit, I say kudos to you, dude, or do that, whoever. This was magnificently designed, in my opinion.
Yep. Like the one thing we're gonna praise nonstop is the suits of Ghost. Like they hit hard. Even the ones we're not big on hit hard. I think Ghost is consistently. I think there's like 3 parkas I don't care for. And
I think that's kind of why it hits hard, is because they understood the basic standard suit should be a flair to it, and the add-ons are essentially just that, add-ons.
Because I like to use food analogies, every suit was designed to be the perfect cheese pizza, and every one of these jackets is just, do you want pepperoni on that? Sweet. How about some salami instead? Sweet. How about some pineapple? Yes, please. There's just a few that ended up being the peppers or onions for
Hmm.
me. Use that food
And
analogy.
that's just not something that we cared for, but somebody else may love it.
Yeah,
Like I
I
generally love the Musashi thing. I just don't care for the handle top knot.
I'm pretty indifferent to it. I did not care for the how basic the Tutankhamun one was without any sleeves, but I get what they were going for. I just
Hmm.
didn't care for it. I also didn't really care for the tininess of the Billy the Kid hat. Looked so stupid.
I remember
That
that.
that was an example of why'd you do that? Like I couldn't find that cute. I just found out why you do that. But yeah, Takuru being his final form being able to help people through trauma, through emotions, fit the monk because he's about spiritual enlightenment, which
Well, the
is
other thing is a lot of people go through turmoil with the concept of death. There's
yeah.
and to have someone that really tries to help someone through a traumatic experience
Mhm.
can do a lot of good. Can also do a lot of bad if done improperly, which is why you should leave to the experts, please.
Yep.
But
But I think being a ghost just makes you a pretty good expert on helping people through death.
yeah, or makes it worse.
Yeah.
Just saying. But my point
Anyway,
is that it's a that's part of the theme for the show that was consistent.
yes,
Like they were
is
dealing with things that were of the dead, or people grieving with the dead, or
near death experiences
Mhm.
or lingering like death is around the door. And they do not shy away from that like some kids shows would, which I will praise Ghost
Mhm.
for. Just because a handful of characters do come back from the dead, some people stay dead and they properly grieve for these people.
And we'll get to that in a moment. We'll also get to another problem with the show in just a moment once we get to the bad guys.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I think we're done talking about our main writer. He's bland but good. And this is our secondary writer. This is our side writer, Makoto, who becomes Kamen Rider Spectre.
now
He
he is
was
the first in league with the villains.
Yeah, he was a childhood friend of Takaru, but due to his dad's experiments and Takaru's dad's experiments, he got sent to the ghost world
Mm-hmm.
and befriended the ghost world royal family. But he also got sent there with his little sister, and she had a harder time surviving in this world. So, upon learning of the 15 icons that can grant the wish and bring someone back to life, Makoto's goal is to bring his sister back to life. She is stuck as a tiny icon as well, with only so long to survive. He starts off as the rival to Takaru, having
Mm-hmm.
no interest in talking to him. He doesn't care. He slightly blames him for their dad's mistake about sending to the ghost world, but gets over it. But he's like, the icons are mine. Get out of my way. I'm saving. But he doesn't even say, "I'm get out of my way. I'm saving my sister." Upon learning what's going on with his sister, Takaru's first thought is, "Well, we're reviving her first."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he gives up his first wish for. Is but here we have Commoner Spectre.
Now I just want to say I love the two horns. I think it's better than the one, in my opinion.
I'm much more fun. I prefer the singular horn that Ghost has, but I much prefer Spectre's faceplate.
Yeah.
So we'll agree to that. It's basically the same suit as Ghost, only with a tasteful metallic blue.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the bright things I love about Kamen Riders that I think really works well is they have a basic suit, standard suit design, and then
Yep.
they go from there. Like you can see the plastic on the for the armor for it that
Yep.
the jacket goes over it. Like that's pretty standard. The coloring is different,
Yep.
but there's a standard consistency throughout it all.
Which makes two things easy. One, it makes designing them easy, and two, it makes producing them easier. So you could just start with making one and then make the turn the
And it
other.
makes them easier to tell apart.
Yeah, especially if in filming, oops, we broke one of the ghost suits today. We were making another Spectre suit, so let's just make it into a ghost suit so we have another spare just in case.
Because what I imagine they do is they have just the plastic, and
Yep.
then they just color it.
Yep, gotta be what they do. Because I can't imagine they actually make it in that color. But maybe we're wrong.
Eh?
But yeah, Spectre can use all 15 of the same icons as Ghost can, but we find out that a personal icon jacket can have negative repercussions if someone else uses it.
Yeah, about that.
This is Spectre possessed by another character we'll talk about in a minute, Necrom. This is Necrom's jacket over the Spectre jacket, and he went. Basically, what happened is he's now on the side of Takaru. The royal family doesn't like that, so the prince steals him back, making him a mindless servant because he wanted his friends back. Because I can't share friends with the enemy.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, but I do like how they could make the suits like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a toy gimmick, but they decided to make it a plot point, and I like that.
And
Because
yes, I do hate the hell out of this one.
it does not work on this one. No, I like the helmet on the Necrom form, but it does not work with the Spectre suit, which I kind of actually think is a good idea. To
Yeah,
make it
I
really
agree. It's a
work.
good idea. Just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what would a Side Rider be without his own upgrade? Deep Spectre.
I love the purple on this thing.
Yep, like this suit should not work. The floppy shoulder pads, the additional flamey spikes on the arms and legs, it should not work. The additional spikes on the horns should not work. This is just pure. This is just pure good. Like Spectre does have an upgrade in a movie, but we're not talking about it here.
Yeah.
But I do think this form really
You know what I
works
think
for
really works for this? What really brings it together is the silver. It's a nice matching color for everything that's here.
And its debut episodes make it a straight up badass of a suit, so it really does work in that situation.
And the funny thing is, this was an upgrade that was supposed to go to our main character.
He took it instead, and it works for him. It feels much more appropriate for him, even though it was made for the main character.
The reason he took this because he was worried about the risk to his friend. So he wants to help his friend. So I'll take the risk and fight for him.
Which then led to Ghost getting the grateful power instead, which felt more appropriate. Like Makoto is a character. He's serious. He's no nonsense. He's like his actor is portraying this guy as laser focused, Mr. No Fun.
But at the same time, not so laser focused. He ignores his friend or calls someone else an idiot most of the time.
Yeah,
because they got real old in X-Aid.
Yep. So with him being laser focused and driven, it makes sense that he would be the one to master a more dangerous power.
Mm-hmm.
And also be the one to be like, I'm not letting Takaru do that. Takaru's too sweet. He won't be able to use this properly. It might get him killed. And he does have a bit of guilt towards Takaru risking his own afterlife and saving his sister. So of course he's going to be like, I'm not putting Takaru in danger.
So he's like, here, give me that upgrade, I'll take it.
But yeah, he's generally the angsty, grumpy team member. Again, he's pretty one-note, but his one-noteness makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people in this show are one-note. But because they're one-note, they expand on that, but stay within that one note. It's really weird to say, but it really works for the show.
Takaru and Makoto are good, angry. And they work.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some deep characters in this show.
Including my favorite character.
This is Prince Alan, or as the subtitles for all call him, Prince Aaron, which made me think of Samus Aran.
Oh my god, I remember doing that.
Yeah. He is the youngest member of the Ghost royal family, and he comes to the living world to get the icons, along with some assistance from, generals and whatnot. And Makoto and his sister Kana, I forget her name. She's more of a MacGuffin than a character at points.
Yeah, she's more like a guide, but
yeah, when they're staying in the royal family, he befriends them. It's his first time having a friend who's not basically an automatic kiss up from the guards.
And someone that can challenge him at his level.
Yep, and he likes that. They bond. But he's also 100% driven to getting these 15 icons because the Ghost world needs the icons for nebulous reasons. So he's the one initially launching monster. He sends someone first, and then he goes along and says, "This guy's fucking up. I'm going to take over." And he's a damn badass.
Yeah, the one thing I remember reading about this, his Henshin device, which is on his arm right there, very different than what the other heroes. It forces the eye open using like an eye drop mechanism to force it open and force it to use more power than it should. hence causing a time limit for him using those.
Which, one, I fucking love the idea of eye drops, because we've all, if you haven't had eye drops in, well, you're lucky, but forcing your eye open to put an eye drop in is kind of painful at times. So it's a good metaphor. Him being so, well, Takuru and Makoto, in a sense, do befriend the ghost to get their powers. He don't care. He just grabs them, forces them open, and then drains them to the point where they can't fight that long. Now, at one point, like I said, he does give his icon to control Makoto, so he's forced to just use the straight other forms, and that's what makes him dangerous. He's able to control someone and then control another power. Now, later on, after he loses connection to that, he has to learn to befriend the icons, and that's the thing. He goes from antagonist to the best written protagonist in the show, hands down. He is our favorite character.
And once he makes friends with them, yes, technically they are less powerful, but he is able to fight prolonged periods of time. There's no time limit anymore.
Yep, and they're able to do more than just the raw power. They're able to guide him in a sense.
Because one of my favorite episodes is, I forget the reason, but Sanzu took him into the icon, to their world, and pretty much gave him a lesson about how to fall and get back up.
Yeah, which Alan steals the show. Like, even when he's a one-note villain, he's still very interesting. Like, he's like scheming, but then he's also like needing his friend. It comes across as a little bit petulant child, but he's still focused on his mission. So there's some interesting to him. And when he's forced to stay in the human world and slowly befriend people, he gets the most character growth.
Because here's the thing. Alan, when he first appears, is not in his original body. He is just a spirit.
Yep.
So the things like hunger, pain, and other emotions, they're essentially lost to him.
Yeah, they're dulled or not there at all. When he's forced to be human, he gets hungry. He doesn't understand hunger pain. He doesn't understand his body giving out because of lack of food, because he hasn't had to eat for centuries.
Which kind of raises the question why your world needs supplies, but we'll get to that in a moment.
We'll get to that in a moment. It leads to one of our problems with Ghost. But anyway, Alan in the human world becomes so interesting, and the only one who really reaches out to him is Makoto's little sister, because she remembers him being a good guy.
And Makoto and her sister also realize that he's only doing this because it's for his family. He's not doing this because he's evil or he's outright trying to be a dick.
Yeah. While he was the bad guy, he was definitely enjoying himself a bit much, but that might just be the power rush. And also, he's basically a teenager who was just handed a super suit.
Plus, also the realization that he's saving his world, so he kind of feels like he's self-justified.
One of the things I do like is it takes a bit of time for Makoto to forgive him for the whole possessing him.
Yeah, that was the other thing I thought was interesting about Alan. Is like he didn't mind control him to be his ultimate weapon or to rejoin the army. No, he just wanted his friend back.
Yep. Now, he did use him to fight Ghost, but that was most because, well, I kind of have to fight Ghost. He's in the way of me getting the icons, and, me plus Spectre would beat him up faster.
Yes. But the main reason he did it was that he just wanted his friend back. That's like,
plus the whole thing of, you stole my friend from me. I'm not letting you get him back.
Yeah.
So it was basically two kids pulling on the same toy.
Now, I would just like for people to keep this green half sweater in mind for later.
Scarf thing? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't even know. But just keep that in mind for just a few more minutes because I do want to bring that up later. Now his suit.
This is the Necrom suit, which I'm also going to say this. I fucking love its Henshin's cry. Russian Vader! So good.
The neon green, the white, and the black. Simple
Scuba
colors,
diving.
but...
Oh, it's so good. I love it with its hood up. It's one of my personal favorite rider suits. We did a top 15.
I love the design of it. There is one thing that irks me about it. Television.
Yeah.
I admit it looks awesome for the concept, but my God, why would you limit your vision like that?
Now, we are going to show a movie exclusive form just because he doesn't get any power-ups. He is stuck in his Necrom for most of the show. Now, when Necrom first shows up with the time limit to his device, he walks through Ghost and Spectre, and they're using multiple different icon forms, and he just walks through them. When the suit powers down, the green turns to gray. So basically, it made me and Soul immediately think of, is he powered by Venom from Bane's from the DC comics?
Which is one of the things I
'Cause
did like about the design is because there was thought put in it as like, oh, he's using this to draw power from the ghost. So he's getting the raw power, but no abilities.
Yep. Which he also is well trained in combat, so he could walk through with not just that skill. But he does get one form upgrade from a movie that I just wanted to show off because it takes one of our favorite suits and fails with it. This is the Damashi form, I believe it's called. Double checking the name.
Something
of it.
something to do with friendship, I believe. I think Damashi was right.
Yujo Boost Damashi. This is my my burning friendship form.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets it in the movie by declaring his massive friendship to Makoto, powers up, and then loses to Makoto because Makoto got under power. Anyway, but we just want to show off that just because we loved a lot of the Ghost suits, this is one of the few that just kind of.
I mean, here's the thing: if this was more like CGI for like actual flames coming out of the shoulder pads,
And maybe flame around the helmet too would work better if it's CGI, but making it solid plastic
doesn't really. I'm not sure how I feel about the gold coloring with it.
I kind of wish even the gold on the green under the jacket was taken up with gold too. Like if all the green turned gold, I'd like it more. But the leftover green there just makes me go, "Are you done transforming it? Because you don't look it."
Yeah, I think that might be what it is. Or maybe I just think they could have used a different color than gold.
Who knows?
Yeah,
But anyway,
I mean, I love like I said, the concept of like the power he's drawing so much power is actually erupting from his shoulder pads and his eye.
Yeah, I like that idea. The idea is good. Like someone wrote this idea down. I love it. Someone put it to 3D. Oh, it didn't translate well.
Yeah, but I will say this one: the black and gold for the icon here, I do think that works really well.
And the red in the eye plate, I like that too.
Yeah, and the gold and black on the Parker right here, yeah, that works really well in my opinion.
Like there is a good suit here. It's just
it's not finished in our opinion.
It's not finished. We're not sure which direction to go. Either take the flames away and make them CGI, or just change the color of it. We're not sure, but we just wanted to show off that it's not perfect.
The Parker itself, the jacket, is fine, but when you see the green, we think we should few things be fixed.
Yeah,
but
anyway,
let's move on.
Let's get to the next character. This is Alan's main assistant and kind of the general of the
His name is Jabal, and like Alan, he goes through a major shift.
Jabal starts off as just the dragon. He just starts off as the strongest guy who shows up to help Alan, and for a while he can just walk through things. And he gets beaten by, I believe, Tokokan Boost. So it takes until Ghost gets a significant power upgrade before he can do it, and the show does still use him every now and then as an okay threat.
But what I love about him is, like Alan, he gets forced to be human when he fails too many times. And he meets another character that he feels should, by all rights, hate him and want to kill him.
Yeah, he also feels like he should be above, because before this, I was the great Ghost General.
But instead, he gets offered food, shelter, and a general life advice that's really good.
Yep. And he was also Alan's, I believe, fight instructor. So there's a correlation between why these two are so good at fighting. They train. Yeah. But basically, he's the second most developed character in the show, and I think it works for him. He does become kind of a joke in the background, but tastefully a joke.
Well, he's a tasteful joke only because they stuck to his character of not still understanding everything that's going on, but he is trying.
Yeah.
And because he received mercy and his pride that made him pay it back, he generally starts becoming a better person because of it. And what I love about it is at the end of the series, when Alan goes back to the Ghost World stuff, he decides to stay in Human World to explore it more.
Yeah, and he remains loyal to Alan to the end. Like, he is another character who does die. He sacrificed himself to protect his young prince, who he is, by that time in the show, the two of them have grown so much. He is so proud of young Alan. And yeah, he goes out like a badass, in my opinion.
Yep.
I
But
mean, it's kind of a cheap shot how he goes out by, but he went out like protecting his prince, saying how proud he was of his student.
hmm and like I
Whereas
said,
before they were very cold to each other.
it wasn't some great revelation or some battle of force that knocked him sense into him. No, it was just a rice ball at the start.
Yeah. I
And,
thought it was a jelly-filled donut.
no, it was a rice ball. I remember.
You sure it was a rice ball, not a jelly-filled donut?
Yes,
Okay.
that with the rice balls. But it shows that the smallest and simplest acts sometimes have the biggest repercussions, because he was so thought that he should be hated and that he's so superior that you have me where you want me, finish me off, I am your enemy.
Yep.
And a monk, a Buddha teaching, just offer some rice ball and tend to his wounds.
Yep, because he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that character in a minute because we both adore that character. Who, anyway, we'll get to them.
But there's one character we adore even more. I
I'm trying not to cry.
I know.
love
What's
her.
up, I? She was
I
the
love her.
sweetest thing in the show.
Yes. Oh my God, did I love every scene she was in. So this is a character that's just pretty much known as Grandma.
And I'm going to apologize for butchering her name.
Mhm.
Fumi Fukushima.
That's pretty good, Soul. That's pretty damn good. She starts off as just a comedy character in the background.
She sells
runs-
octopus balls.
And get quite proud of them. She's someone who remembers Makoto and Kan before they got lost, and as soon as they return, she identifies them and just wants to take care of them. She's so happy to see them again. Come here, have some takoyaki with me. And then she meets Alan, who she finds out, oh, it's a friend of Makoto's. Oh, then I'm going to take care of you. He's like, the hell are you doing?
Here, eat these.
He-
Oh my god,
the
these are
hell are-
delicious.
Yeah, she basically makes him addicted to her octopus balls, but not because she keeps forcing them on him, but she just keeps offering him free food. Like, he doesn't understand the concept of human money, eating like that. And at first he's confused, like, you eat eyeballs? Because everything he's all things around are icons in his head. And she never understands the Ghost World stuff. She thinks it's a joke he's telling that she doesn't quite get, but he's so passionate about it that she just loves it. And she takes her time to really bond with him.
I thought
Like,
at one point she thought he was some sort of writer trying to write a book or something.
I think so, yeah. And she absolutely loves shipping Makoto's little sister with Alan because they make each other happy, and I just adore them being happy together.
Mhm. And the funny thing is, and also the most terrible thing is, she is one of the characters that does pass on.
Or she passes on, she really does give Alan an understanding of why the human world is so good.
Mhm.
She makes him that weird sweater jumper thing, and it's the last thing she does before she passes away.
And the really hard thing is that Alan went and got, because she was always so nice to him, he found out that she wanted to be a painter. Well, he goes, not understanding a lot of things about the human world, goes out and gets her a small basic paint set. Nothing extravagant, but
I want to say this before we forget this. He's sitting down after he's been given this sweater by her, and she just leans on him and gets quiet. And then Alan sees Makoto and Takaru need help in the fight because he's joined their side at this point. So he gently gets up and lets her lay down on the park bench. And after the fight, he comes back with the paint supplies, where her stand is, where she was resting because she was tired. He understood being tired by that point, and he gets there seeing she's passed away. She felt the implication is she died leaning against him, having bonded with him as a grandson.
Because while he understands exhaustion, he doesn't quite understand
death.
Yeah.
Because where he's from, if you die, you turn into an icon and you can be put into a new body and come back. And because she's not associated with the icon energy like Takaru was because of his father's experiments, she's gone. She's not coming back. And the show never once plays as a joke.
Nope.
And after that, Alan never takes off the gift she gave him. He thought it was stupid at first because it looked hideous.
And here's the thing:
And
when he reappears after that, he walks back to that battlefield like a total badass wearing it.
munching on Tokyo, he's munching on his balls with one hand, walking towards you, and just like, this looks stupid, but the energy, his actor is carrying that scene.
Yep.
And heaven forbid anyone insults that sweater thing. Like, we made jokes about being hideous, but I'm pretty sure if he heard us, he'd kick down the door and kick the crap out of us. And honestly, he grieves for her for several episodes. It's not a one and done. Oh no, she's dead. I'm just going to wear this to remember. He still longs to spend time with her.
But I do appreciate that while he is still grieving her, it's not all consuming.
Yeah. And honestly, the episodes around her death, what I keep rewatching, and I ain't lying. When he got up and she just stayed on the bench, I knew she was dead, and I'm like, crying my eyes out already. And then when they come back to actually showing that, no, you were right, ma'am, she passed away next to him. The tears did not stop long.
But but the impact she had on Alan and the other characters, despite being not even there most of the time.
A joke character who's just there for like 4 or 5 lines. And also, the actress they picked for her exudes so much sweet grandma energy. And another thing about...
I hate to say it, but I honestly think she was homeless too.
She kind of felt like that her entire life was around her moving stall. Like, she might have been, because she's never wearing the nicest things, and she went out of her way to make Alan a gift that is not the best, but she really meant well. I don't know if she is homeless, but her entire life, she's well in the retirement age. She should be being taken care of by somebody, and yet she's still moving a takoyaki stand. Those aren't light.
No.
That's an entire wooden frame she's moving with an oven, with a cooking device built into it, and she's bringing it to different places. Like, a lot of these Japanese stalls that are movable are only movable from parking lot where they've stored for safely to their designated spot where they've bought permits. That's usually like at most a 20-minute walk with it. She shows up in different places around the city.
Yeah.
Which either means she can't afford the same permit, or she doesn't like the same permit.
She needed to meet? Santa-chan.
Oh yeah, Santa-chan would have helped her for sure. But yeah, she's either like doesn't have the permit, or she's moving it and hiding it in plain sight. Like, she doesn't have the permit, so today I'll be down here so the police don't notice me. Which could be more tragic, or we're just adding more tragedy to this sweet old lady. But
you know what? The police showed up and they got octopus balls, and they just said, "You're good with us," and walk off.
Just don't be here tomorrow. That's probably what they did. And her acting and Alan's actor's face acting is just so good. Like, these two
clearly have acting career experience, in my opinion.
And I don't know if these two have worked together before, but they had such natural back and forth. It did feel like a grandma taking care of at first unwanting grandson who doesn't want this care, and by the end of it, he adored every minute with her. And he does basically... there's a scene where he's just standing there looking off, and you get the impression just from his face where, why didn't I spend more time with her?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, I don't know if Alan and her had prior acting experience or if they were just naturals, but damn, did they nail these guys. But...
and it almost made me want to try seafood.
Before I start crying, let's move on.
Yeah. So, what's a Kamen Rider without a main female side character who adds... This is Akari Tsukimori, I believe her name
Tsukimori, I think it's correct.
She is Takeru's longest friend. She's not associated with the temple. She's not associated with paranormal stuff at first. She is a well-driven, intellectual college student.
And doesn't believe in ghosts.
Yep. And the entire paranormal stuff around her, she is trying to disprove, and kind of does.
Yeah, the weird thing is she's kind of right and she's kind of not. It's really weird.
At the start of the show, we can't see the ghosts, the bad guys. We can't see Kamen Rider Ghost, but she invents a means to actually see the supernatural. That
only to disprove the supernatural.
Yes. In fact, she often makes a few gadgets now and then that do end up really helping the show.
And sometimes, yes, not as intended, but it still helps out, so...
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes.
She also is not afraid to jump into action. She has no powers. Her gadgets aren't the best, but they still sometimes do help. But when she sees a mean way to help people and stop the bad guy, she will. There's
Hmm.
one bad guy who develops a phobia or a weird affliction with her because she's not afraid to slap him. And he do it multiple times, and he kind of cowers whenever she raises her hand. Like, I think he does at one point when he's in this monster form, is like has super strength. Like, ugh, don't slap me. She is basically what I wanted the main female character from Double D.
Intelligent and useful.
Yes, but also being along the lines of annoyed by shit going on. Like, she has her comedy moments. She's got some good comedy moments where she's like, nope, not real, not real, nope. She feels like she'd be great with a Scooby Doo gang.
But once again, like I said, she stays in a one tone that she doesn't believe is supernatural. At the same time, it's not wrong. So her viewpoint doesn't change entirely, but she
Yep.
accepts there's more going on.
She also really comes across as Takuru's big sister. Like, she is very protective of the kid. Like, don't fuss with him around.
And at
her.
first, she's like, "Go find the icons. Go find the icons. Will you morons go find the goddamn icons?"
Yes, she's also oftentimes not there doing research on how to help things. Like, she's proactive.
Mm-hmm.
And I
At
like
the
that in
end
a
of the
side
series,
character.
she's helping try and solve Alan's problems for his world.
Yeah. Even though they were enemies, she's like, no, we gotta work together. We can work together. There's got to be some way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she is very much along the lines of, if it's not scientifically proven, I don't care. But she also does have faith and belief in people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's clear that Takeru's good nature has rubbed off on her, where she's like, no, okay, you guys were the bad guys, but you have a complete legitimate reason. Let's fix this. Don't know
Yeah,
we can.
she also understands that nothing's gonna get proven if you don't test it out.
Yeah, she is also, when several times she gets proven wrong, she's like, oh no, I'm not wrong. I'm not. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. She has that edge of denial because everyone does that,
Mm-hmm.
but she does eventually come around to, okay, this ghost stuff is real, but I still don't like it.
Which has her butting heads with the other character.
Yep, probably the funniest character of the show.
This is
Onari Yamanachi. I cannot pronounce his last name.
Yamanouchi.
Yamanochi, I'm guessing. He is the head monk of the temple. He is
Mm-hmm.
basically Takuru's legal guardian. He has helped raise the young master for years. And he is 100% spiritual.
Yep.
If someone tells him the kami did this, the ghost did this, the yokai did this, he did.
You'll be the first to believe it.
Yes. He's also the one going around behind the scenes eating every piece of scenery he can. He has the loud reactions. He has the panicked reactions. He's got the crying reactions. He's just so much of the scenery is just in this man's mouth.
But like everyone else, he has a huge heart. This is the man that when Jabal showed up at his doorstep, injured, claimed that you should finish him off or I'm better than you. He offered him a rice ball and proceeded to tend to Jabal's wounds.
And listen to him. Listen to his. He was not able to give him proper answers, but he was able to be what you want in a religious figure,
Because
someone to bounce off of.
The best thing I can say about this, when he was with Jabal was asking, "It's like, what is my point of my existence now?" It's like, I can't tell you that. No one can besides you. Got to find it for yourself. No one can tell you what the point of your existence is.
He often will recite the several Buddhist teachings just off the top of his head.
And the fun thing about him is like, yeah, Evan says that he chooses scenery, but he's also out there helping people run for the monsters, getting to safety, whacking monsters with sticks to let other people run for safety. And he's got two assistant monks. I forget their names, but they're not really that huge in.
No, they're their county. They're his county relief duo. They help him with the county relief, but also he does do some proactive stuff. He decides to turn the temple into a paranormal investigation group because where the icons end up going, paranormal shit happens. So if people come to us with, I've got reports of this weird ghostly shit, or my son's acting weird, like he has a completely new personality. So he is both one of the more proactive characters in finding the icons, but he's also kind of Ku Klux Klan, Cuckoo Cloud, Cuckoo Lander at times. Jeez, why I say Ku Klux Klan? Been
I
watching too
don't
many
know.
documentaries. Been watching too many documentaries about stuff. Anyway, yeah, he's the crazy guy.
But
And bunny eared lawyer is the term TV tropes use for him because well, he's ham. He's pure solid ham, hamming up all the time. And here's the thing: I know a lot of people don't find him funny. He's laugh right.
I would say I found about 80% of the time funny.
There's a few times where his delivery or his line just fell flat.
But I always thought that was more of the timing rather than the actor. Like it was the actor was trying, but something just about it just fell off.
His one note is to be loud, and my God, is he loud.
Well, see, I found he actually had the most notes. One was to ham it up, be loud and overreact. The other one was to be purely spiritualistical.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was to just be another genuine nice guy, to show that you can be nice and still... I'm not sure quite how to say that. It's realistic. Like, not be, like, overly nice about everything. But still understand that when people are down in luck, a forceful hand is not the right approach at it.
Yep. And also, apparently, he was only 16 when he started taking care of Takaru.
Damn.
Yeah. So he's been raising Takaru for 10 years. He's 26 now, and he's the head of the temple. So while he may be a goofball, there's a responsible adult there.
And I thought he was a little older, so his temperament makes a little more sense.
His stated age is 26, and he started raising Takaru 10 years ago, according to the behind the scenes, the extra information. So just because he's a goofball does not mean there's a responsible adult there. And you do see every now and then, not just mostly when you see him with Jabal, where he's completely the perfect picture of a monk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get the impression that his character was, I'm going to read the room. Okay, we don't need a monk right now, so I'm going to default to Kame. But when he needs to be wise, he can be wise. And there are several times where he advises Takaru quite well. And there's several times he tries to advise Akari. The two of them have a great back and forth. A lot of people ended up shipping them, which, if you do, you do. But they do have a very perfect...
respect for each other.
They start off hating each other, basically. Like, you're an idiot who believes in nonsense. I don't understand your science. It's all foopla. And by the end of the show, when one of them says there's danger or I have a solution to, the other one goes, I'm right behind you.
Let's go.
The only thing they ever completely agreed on to start is taking care of Takaru.
Mm-hmm.
For different reasons, Akari just did it because I bonded with him, and Honor is because he's the young master. But their general respect for this kid is so real, and they adore him. And when he does die, they're the two broken up the most.
Yep.
And when he dies again, they're the two broken up the most. When he dies again, they're the ones broken up the most.
Do we mention Takaru's dead, by the way? I just want to make sure we make that perfectly clear.
On his 18th birthday, mind you.
Yeah. Oh, he's got 99 days to get his life back in order. Now it's 16 days. What the hell happened?
Yeah. But yeah, they're basically Agents Skolder and Molly from X-Files to Takaru. There's always a supernatural explanation. No, there's always a rational scientific explanation. And they bounce off each other quite well. And I do absolutely adore that his favorite of the icons is Goemon. And he gets possessed by Goemon at one point, and he's so happy about it.
But let's continue on before we keep rambling.
Yeah. So
this guy looks familiar.
Yeah, Makoto got an evil clone. This is one of the other ideas that we don't quite get.
In theory, this was a good idea, but the story behind it was kind of convoluted.
It even gets more convoluted when you add in the Spectre movie, which apparently Makoto himself might be a clone.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie that well. I just remember this had something to do with Deep Spectre and...
Yeah, not wanting Deep Spectre to get too powerful, but also wanting to get certain levels of power.
I don't know. It was confusing as hell with that.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of having an evil clone rider out there to kind of screw with you mentally is awesome. I say go with it.
I mean, one of the best ones, in my opinion, is Art Kabuto. But the thing is, when Clone Spectre uses form, it's the exact same suit,
Yeah.
which does lead to the whole shoot him, he's the fake, shoot him, he's the fake. But for the general audience, it does get a little confusing at
Well,
points.
that also raises the question: how are you doing that without the proper icon?
Yeah.
Like, I get if you made an icon, but it wouldn't be the same icon. So would that be like shit?
Yeah. Like I said, it gets confusing in places.
I think my gears in my brain are burning. I can smell some smoking.
Yeah.
But he eventually just gets destroyed and forgotten, like the concept. So,
He gives his life to power up Makoto.
oh yeah, I don't
Or
remember.
he and Makoto's fuse. I don't know. The only positive trait this guy has is he also does care for Makoto's sister. He will hurt her, but he can't like actually kill her.
Plus,
So
he
they do
looks
use
good in
that.
the suit.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's move on because that's all I really want to say about this guy because it is just like a mess with that.
It's a mess. If you ask me, he shouldn't have been in the show.
I could see him being in the show, but they shouldn't. They should have fleshed it out a little bit better. Like,
If they didn't have time to flesh out this character,
don't
axe
use
him.
him because there's other things they could have done, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. So this is Alan's older brother, Adele. He ends up being the actual villain of the show.
Kinda. We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
But for maybe like the last third to a quarter, maybe a little less,
Yep.
somewhere in that area,
Last third. Yeah.
he becomes the main villain.
Yep.
He literally wants world conquest over Earth.
Yeah, he wants everything him. And I mean that literally. His ultimate goal is to convert everyone in the human world and ghost world into him.
Creepy little shit.
Yeah. He's also backstabbing. He hides things from Alan before they even become revealed as a bad guy. His father, who started the invasion of the human world for as noble reason you can for invasion, he backstabs him to steal his powers.
Yep.
He is, well, the TV trope that best describes him is a villain with a zero approval rating.
Yeah, he's pretty close to being a
Even
sociopath.
Even his own sister, who generally tries to keep the peace, tries to take him down.
Yeah, she finally woke up like, yeah, this little bugger's crazy. We're gonna get rid of him.
Yep. He's the one who fucks over Alan and Jabal, keeping them locked in the human world.
Mm-hmm.
He basically is so self-absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
He sees an opportunity for power. He just willingly takes it.
And like I said, he intends on turning everyone into basically him. Like, there's narcissist, and then there's that.
Yeah. In the wise words of Uncle Iroh, no, he's crazy. He needs to be taken down.
Yep.
So, this is his monster form.
The perfect Gamarizer. It's essentially a budding rose monster, which he does have a rose head, but that form looks stupid.
Yeah, this thing does look stupid.
It looks even stupider with a rose head blossoming.
I kind of like the beads to kind of represent like Buddha beads or what I forget exactly what they're called.
Yeah, twisted. Yes, I know what you mean.
I mean, for a monster form, there are worse designs. It's just this one doesn't really appeal to me at all.
Yeah, no, this was not. This is a pretty. I am at least glad about one thing.
What's that?
The final bad guy is not a Kamen Rider.
I'll give you that one.
That does tend to be overused.
I don't know. Just something about this just doesn't give me final villain energy.
Yeah.
Like
I don't hate it. It just
it feels like this should be like the first villain form. Like there's steps to this. Like I think there was with when all it really changed was like he got a flower for a head,
and then he had a giant CGI flower base for a body at one point.
Yeah, so maybe as a base where this does kind of work, but it still just feels a little underwhelming for some reason.
Yeah. I get what they were going for. He's a narcissistic, sees himself as beautiful and a rose is a good idea of that because a rose has thorns, and he's also kind of an invasive weed.
Yeah, but
He also has his actor also can pull off faces where you just want to punch him so well.
yeah. But let's move on. So there's this guy.
This guy is just such a goddamn enigma.
And all we know is that we call him Stenin.
Yes.
And he knew
And
Alan's father and Makoto's father.
Makoto's. Yeah, Makoto's, yeah. And he also knows the king of the ghost world.
Mm-hmm. So he's kind of the bridge between all of this.
You know what he feels like?
Hmm?
A not as well pulled off DJ from Gaim.
Yeah. Like the major problem I had with him is like he knows a lot more what's going on. And if he had just told everybody from the start, this could have solved a lot of problems.
He also is deeply responsible for making bad guys without meaning to, but also essentially he is the guy who originally created the bridge between the ghost world and the human world. And he's somewhat trying to make amends for what he's done, but he's also playing both sides to make amends for what he's done.
And he's the one that first gave Takumi the offer to come back as a ghost.
Yep. And to tell him about the 99 days to find them and to give them advice. And he also was trying to be a comic mentor, but he eventually just stopped showing up for a while and then showed back up. And also his pet cat is the ghost eye we used for the preview image from the last episode. And
it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, it was so annoying we didn't include this.
Yeah.
But I think my major problem, like, they try to have him pull out as this mysterious old guy that has inside information.
And
then, like, I understand that it feels like a terrible Nick Fury situation. Where, you're going to have secrets, but you keeping secrets helps nothing. Nick Fury keeps secrets to try and prevent a panic.
He keeps secrets and just frustrates people.
Yeah. Like, he could have told him, it's like, yeah, listen, the reason why they're invading is because they're out of resources and their world's going to shit.
Yeah.
And
he also like to show up in different outfits.
Yeah. I think this is the one he first shows up in.
Yeah. That's the one he's most commonly in, but he has like themed outfits for certain episodes.
I mean, I appreciate the actor trying to seem wise and mystical and offer advice when he can.
Yes.
Like, the actor is doing a fine job. It's the story plot that just kind of ruins this for me. I mean,
yeah, he is another example of good idea, but poorly.
I mean, to be fair, if I was going to try and fix this, take out the effect that he knows about the Ghost World being low on supplies, but have him be part of the project that connected the worlds.
Yes.
And that they used him, and now he's trying to make right, but he doesn't know the reason for the invasion. Like, he has this information about their world, but parts of it are not there. Like, either from the explosion damages memory or something.
See, he's originally from the Ghost World.
Right.
He's one of the high officers of the Ghost World, and that makes him really sus.
Yes.
So I like the idea of maybe if he basically making it from the Ghost World makes him more of a plot hole, in my opinion. If he just was part of the research team on the Living World side to connect the two and found out we're going to be invaded soon, that might work.
The other thing I would probably try is, like, have him be like that crazy guy that talks about prophecy at the end of the world. No one believes him until it starts happening. And then they start listening to him and find out all the information that they need. They don't believe him at first because there's no reason to. Just throwing out another idea out there.
Yeah.
But overall, his story plot just doesn't work because his secrets makes things worse. Now we have Alan Adele's dad, who's
the Emperor of the Ghost World, who is invading the human world because his people are dying.
Mm-hmm.
The whole process of turning them to eyes to make them immortal has destroyed all resources, but he can't undo the process because then his people might just die right away.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way he can survive, make sure his people can survive and his world can survive, take resources from Earth. I don't know what exact resources they're after.
See, here's the clutch of that. Number one, we don't know what exact resources they're after. We assume food and stuff like that, which is understandable.
Energy, I don't know.
The other problem is, like, you managed to open a dimensional portal. You could try opening it to somewhere else.
Yeah. Could try that.
Or your immortal bodies. You could try, I don't know, take over Mars or something and try harvesting that from raw materials.
Good work.
Just an idea here. I mean, I don't know if you need to breathe or not because ghosts don't breathe, but that's the other thing that's going to be questioning here. Are you actually ghosts?
Yeah, that's the thing that ends up being the worst. Is they end up, well, calling a Danny Phantom. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time that ghosts turned out not to be ghosts in a fictional story about ghosts, I'd have 2 nickels.
That's just weird.
It's not a lot of nickels, but it's weird that it's happened twice. But yeah, they're not ghosts, but they are ghosts. Like I said, it's very much like Danny Phantom, where no, these ghosts who clearly have memories of dying on the, they're just aliens from another parallel universe.
I mean, that draws into the question about the ghosts from our world, like Musashi and...
like, I think they tried to hand wave it by saying these are just recreations of them, but they clearly have memories. So did they recreate the memories too? And why did you... Like, if these were 15 legendary people who happened to reach a certain level of enlightenment, that makes sense. Selecting these 15 as... Because in that case, why are so many of them Japanese-based and not all of them then? Because you're clearly based in Japan.
And why would you have a scientist?
Yeah, why? And the worst one is having Harry Houdini, who spent the last years of his life debunking this bullcrap. I mean, it's kind of ironic to have. If Harry Houdini actually became a ghost, and that's pretty cosmic ironic. But making him into a fake ghost, that's just pissing on his grave.
Yeah. Now, I will say it.
That being said, I did love that fact about Harry Houdini. After he died, in his will, he basically had his wife do seances, and then she would prove that these people doing seances were bullshit because that's not what my husband had said. I have the answers written down here.
But here's the thing.
Even in death, he's like, let's get those spiritualist motherfuckers.
But
I love a man committed to something like that.
But the alternate dimension thing is shoehorned in about halfway through.
Yeah.
And I think that was them trying to get the plot to continue. Because
yeah.
It feels like at this point they're just using alternate dimensions as an excuse a lot in Kamen Rider.
They do. Sometimes they do it really well, sometimes they do it really poorly.
I mean, Gaim did it pretty well.
Yeah. I think Decay did it pretty fun too.
Zio, we'll get to that later. That's kind of a hit and miss on that one. The one with the train, no, we're not going to talk about that.
That one just ended up being pure time.
We're still not going to talk about
it. Eventually we might.
Yeah. But, Alan's dad was, to get back on topic, was put into a tight situation and tried to make the best of a really shit situation.
Yeah, evasion's never not a good answer, but definitely he felt like he was backing against the wall.
But then here's the other thing, like if he tried diplomacy, he has nothing to start diplomacy with, essentially.
Yeah, he basically shows up and saying, we have no resources. We have this technology, and they would be taken advantage of. I can see that happening.
Yeah. So, especially with our governments around the world, yeah.
Somebody would take it. If not our governments, then some company would.
Yeah, let's not pretend like that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, a certain former bookstore might have some things to say about that.
But the other problem is that we don't really have enough time with this man.
No, when he's introduced, we are given the impression that he's going to be the big bad because he's the one in charge. He's the one, and Alan stabs him.
Adele, not Alan.
Adele, yeah. After Alan and him make amends, and it's some tragedy to him. He's well acted, but
yeah. his time was far too short.
Yeah.
And
But at the same time, I do like him being more of a noble king who has to take mad actions, and his crazy son taking advantage of that. I actually do think
yeah,
that
the
idea
story
works.
itself was fine. It's just that you don't really get enough with him to learn the thing until after he's gone, and it's more establishing character than you're being told.
Actually,
you're not witnessing it.
You know what actually could have worked instead? Combine him and Sennen. Basically, he starts the invasion, and it starts going out of his control. So he decides to help the humans have a means of fighting things off.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah. He can't stop the invasion fully because we do need those resources, but we can at least make sure the humans can defend themselves from our.
Or he realizes that the full-on invasion is going to ruin both worlds.
Yeah, but he also cannot stop it because his generals have gone rogue or something like that.
Or his son rightfully took the throne, and no one believes he's the rightful king because he's stuck as an icon.
Yeah, there we go. Or he's stuck in possessing a human body because he decided to explore the human world and see the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And his son's like, yeah, door's closed. Oh, my father suddenly died.
It was the humans doing. Let's go get them.
Yeah, and then he can't reveal to the humans that, oh, I'm the emperor who started the invasion. Then shit gets real, so it makes more sense to hide it.
Because that key detail hiding that, I can understand because he's trying to gain trust to get them to help him.
Yeah.
But he can still share everything he knows. So yeah, I kind of like that better.
Yep.
But let's move on a little bit. So this is the guy that has the rivalry with Akari, was it?
Yeah. He's the genius inventor of the gammas. They're called gammas, but we call them ghosts because it's easier. His name is Igor. Igor is basically the nibbling inventor who works for the. He has no problem working for the emperor. Oh, hey, Adele's emperor now. I'm going to work for him still. Adele's turning everyone to him. I don't care. I just get to invent weird, crazy things and prove how intelligent I am and how perfect I am.
Even that little weird thing in his chest right there.
Yeah. And the reason Akari does not like him at first is because he's willing to throw his own people away to prove his experiments and to experiment on.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, that's not what a scientist does. Scientists have goddamn morals. Just because you have a question and a means to answer it does not make you a scientist by answering that question.
Yeah, here's the thing. Science itself has no morals. It's the pursuit of the truth. Scientists are what are supposed to have morals.
Yes. Science does not. It's just not made like that. Like yes, it's designed to answer questions, but some questions you just really don't need answered. But people were like, no, I have to answer them first. It's the pursuit of science. Who's asking the question besides you?
And could you not try to invent a way to find the answer without murdering people?
No, I want to find out what happens when I murder 15 people.
They die?
That's not science.
That's insanity.
That's just you being a monster.
I mean, to be fair, he's got a better final villain form, though it does look Rider-esque.
Yeah, he and Jabal have the same base monster form, which they just wear different jackets, much like the ghost jackets.
I mean, I like the fact that jackets take like a more monstrous form that's fitting.
Yep. And also because they're ghosts, in a sense, they can reuse the same power after being destroyed.
Yeah.
I think he was a great right hand for Adele, and it was a lot of fun to watch him getting slapped and beaten up. Which is what you want from your villain.
Yeah. But like I said, I just like the concept that the jackets are more imposing or monstrous looking, but it's still kind of from the same aspect as the heroes, but they're not actual riders.
Cut from the same cloth, you mean?
Now, if I said that, you would groan and tell me that joke was poor taste.
Yeah,
your silence speaks volumes.
Yeah.
But let's get on to the actual final villain aspect. Yeah. I have no freaking remembrance.
So the Gamma Riser, which is countered by the 50 icon, grant Adele godhood so he can make clones of himself and then spread. This is confusing.
Yeah.
The show lost me at this point. Like basically, the icons are used to access these things to grant wishes, but they've also got personalities and they're destructive by nature. So overusing them is destructive.
I think they also
So
want world conquest, maybe.
So Deep Spectre is used to drain their powers, but overusing it also gets them connected to the.
Easy, have the smoke cut out of your ears.
This lore makes no sense. This is where Ghost lost me.
This is kind of where my brain got shut off, and I was like, "Can we go back to the fighting?"
Yeah, I'm still trying to connect the dots. I'm sure I'm misremembering shit. I'm sure I'm getting some of it wrong. But,
All I remember is that these things are somehow linked to the final villain, and
Yep.
it's like, so where did these things come from again? I don't remember. You had so much information overload that is kind of pain in the ass, and you had so many shifting villains that is kind of like also a pain in the ass. You went from an invasion to Alan's
Yep.
father, to Alan's brother who killed his father to take over as head villain. Then you got these things coming in for Adele.
Which are happy to make Adele clones.
So I think that was the major problem with Ghost, in my opinion.
Yep.
1 second, let me just get back to here.
Yep.
Is that this thing really like I know it's common for Kamen Rider to shift its villain at least once or twice. That's
Yeah, I
no
mean-
big surprise.
Yeah, some of them actually do it multiple times, which, depends on the show. It works, it doesn't work.
I mean, Geese does it at least 3 times, which is fine. It kind of works with the show.
Yep.
And they all they all still come from the same place. It's not really confusing.
Yeah.
But-
Double also shifts their enemies to one organization to another organization, but it makes sense because they are directly tied. O's also switches its villains from just generic monsters to a guy with an actual plan.
But he came in with the plan. He wasn't actually involved with them until then.
Yep.
But this one, like they're all from the ghost world, as we call it.
Yep.
But it shifts too many times.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
Alan was a fine setup. Like you had a couple of agents, then you had their generals, so you understand that
Yep.
there was a ghost army. Cool.
Yes, a ghost hierarchy.
Okay, and then having his best friend be part of that army. Okay, so they got decent fighters. We're working with it.
Mhm.
Then you had Jabal as a high-ranking general that could whip your ass. Okay, still within the same realm here. We're still going with that theme. Oh, we're coming to invade you for resources that will never clarify what those resources are needed. Okay, at least we're getting under some understanding, but if you're all dead, what do you need resources for?
How are you dead? How are you ghost? How are you not ghost? You clearly
See,
are ghost. Like,
that's
what are
where
you?
all the craziness really started sinking in. Because if you're just able to phase through walls and shit like that, then technically you're not dead, so you're not ghost. So what the hell are you? Alien invasion from another dimension. Okay. Are we going to just call you something else? Nope, you're still dead ghost to us.
So is every paranormal activity that ever happened on Earth also from you guys?
Hmm. Like it feels like that's what they're setting it up to be.
See, the reason why Danny Phantom did the whole not ghosts all along is because of, broadcast standards being, overprotective in the West. Not showing any death is very common for a kid's show. There's a lot of death in this show, and some deaths that stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have the excuse of, well, we can't make them ghosts for broadcast standards.
I mean,
Because it's not the afterlife we're going to. It's a parallel universe
I
which
at
has
least
buildings and
appreciate,
stuff.
unlike in Danny Phantom, they at least showed to have actual physical bodies that they left to be icons and some like ghosts. So at least there was a standard there, unlike in Danny Phantom for that.
Yeah.
Which really throws. Which we should probably do Danny Phantom as an episode later on.
We should. That one, I lean to semi-perfect on that one though.
But
he could copy
regardless,
it. Anyway.
But once we get introduced into their actual world and how that all applies,
Yep.
the story just kind of you're explaining too much, explaining nothing at all.
You over-explained things to make, and you made more plot holes. Rather than building a bridge across this pothole, you decided
To dig
fix
under
this
to get to the other side.
Yeah, in order to fix this plot hole, let's dig next to it and make another hole. Why? So you won't look at the first
And
one.
then as soon as Alan's dad's introduced, it's not that long till he's backstabbed and Adele takes over. So like, well, I guess we're not gonna get to know that guy except for like what you tell us. This would have been a good time for a show, don't tell.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a few scenes to understand his plight, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like it would have been great to have Takumi and that guy really try and talk it out for a peaceful resolution, and then Adele kind of backstabs. To kind of show that Takumi would have been willing to work with the king, that they might have tried reaching a peaceful solution. And Adele's like, oh, fuck that shit. I want this war to go on. But, and then you have the mysterious gamma miser lights that are like, so where did these things come from again? I don't know. I stopped paying attention to you 15 minutes ago because I couldn't keep following all this craziness. I mean, the first premise of you being dead, you got 99 days, get your shit together, come back to life. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's an alien army invasion. Where did this take a wrong turn at?
Yeah.
And plus, if the wise Senate guy helped make the 15 ghosts, you'd think that would be mentioned in yeah, no.
No.
I mean, if I had to rank it, I would give it a solid 6. Now,
solid 6.
If we were going to discuss the first part of it, I'd go up to an 8. But the later on, with how things quickly shift perspective, and sometimes a lot of things aren't addressed, and the goddamn countdown timer makes no sense to me, I gotta go 6.
Yep.
It's a fun thing to watch, but if you're trying to make sense out of the story plot, there are better ways for it.
Yeah, don't just go in for some well-acted scene, and you can invest in Grandma though.
Oh yeah, like the acting and everything is superb. The thing that brings it down is quite literally the convoluted plot in the last half of it. The first half, if we split this into 2 seasons, and you want me to just grade season 1,
season 1 gets 8.
Yeah, season 1 is 8, maybe 9, maybe.
Yeah,
but that's only if we're counting Grandma's death scene into it. Then I would go up to a solid 9 for the acting.
Yeah.
But the second half, like I said, just really bogs you down with information overload and not enough clarification on what you want clarified on.
Here you go. Here's a reference book. Oh, where are the reference pages? We didn't add any of those. Figure it out yourself.
But I will say this: the outfits, and everything like that, solid work. That's what keeps it above the 5.
Oh yeah, even the Monster of the Weeks look pretty good. We didn't show any of those, but they're pretty good. Like honestly, suit work is really good. Music is pretty damn good.
Action scenes are decent.
Not my favorite soundtrack from a Kamen Rider show.
Oh, that goddamn lizard boat. Yeah, you're the reason why this can't reach a 10, so shut up.
I wish I could have bought you that toy and just do you.
You know, I would have blown it up on the camera just to spite you.
Oh yeah, that's actually why I want.
I would literally just buy a stick of dynamite just for that.
Huh. Okay. Anyway, I think that's all we have to say about Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Solid to enjoy, but if you spend any time thinking about it, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Speaking of hurting yourself, we might as well return to that mess.
I'm going back to the academy. I hear there's a dunce there.
The entire class?
Well, there's at least a few promising aspects.
Yeah, we'll return with reviving an old episode again.
This time with images.
Probably took some lessons we learned from it and the Bleach episodes. But it certainly has a character bloat.
Maybe the ninjas won't invade this time.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Go Ghost.
Good night, everybody.